Calling out a narcissistic person. Why on earth we would want to call a narcissistic person out, and the reactions we might get from them, and what is a better method than calling out a narcissistic person. When it comes to calling somebody out, what you are in essence doing is exposing their behaviour in some way, exposing their lies, exposing their mistreatment. Now, the majority of people do not like to be called out on their behaviour, usually because they feel things such as guilt and remorse and shame. Therefore, the majority of people can react badly when they get called out, while they go and process and take responsibility and then want to repair any damage that has been caused. Narcissistic people don't seem to do this. They might feel a moment of shame, but they will quickly pass the blame so that they can escape any form of exposure, so that they can avoid any consequences for their actions. So when it comes to calling a narcissistic person out, we can want to call them out to sort of show them that we know they lied, we know they deceived, we know who they are, we know what they did, to sort of prove a point. However, a narcissistic person will go below the belt to prove a point by punishing you for recognizing who they are as a person. We can call them out in the hope that we can potentially help them from making the same mistake with somebody else. Narcissistic parents can do this with their children when their child has mistreated another person. Call them out in the hope that they can stop their child doing it again. And if it's a narcissistic person, a narcissistic adult child, then they're going to fall silent on their parents because they're not going to recognise what they did wrong. They're going to blame the parents for turning against them. We can call people out in the hope that they will see the light and they will change their behaviour. When you're dealing with a narcissistic person, they do not want to change. They only change long enough to suck you back into their games, and then they revert back to who they are. Calling them out doesn't change anything when it comes to a narcissistic person. They just learn better ways to manipulate you so that they can get away with their behaviour. So when you call out a narcissistic person, the conversation rarely to never goes how you would expect it. One of the first things that a narcissistic person might do when you call them out is deny all knowledge. Lie, deny. They're looking to gaslight your reality. They are looking to persuade you into disbelieving what you saw with your own eyes or what you heard with your own ears. They want you to go against your own perceptions. So they're going to go all out to gaslight you into believing what they want you to believe, into persuading you that you are in the wrong and that they haven't done anything wrong, which is an extremely confusing place to be. They might start guilt tripping you. They might start going all out, saying things such as, "Oh, I knew it would be my fault. Oh, I knew I would be to blame. Oh, you never take my side. Oh, you always have to find a way to put me down, don't you? Oh, I forgot you were perfect. What about when you did this?" Because they're looking to pass the shame over to you by making you feel guilty for their behaviour, to get you to take responsibility for their behaviour, or to get you to defend yourself to them so that they can shut down the original conversation and not have to defend themselves to you, or to get you to try and make it up to them so they don't have to repair the damage they've caused to you. They're going to go all out to guilt trip you or to make you feel guilty, rather than recognise their behaviour and repair the damage that they have caused, rather than take responsibility for their behaviour. Which is another thing a narcissistic person will do when you call them out, is blame you. Blame somebody else. Find a scapegoat to blame. Find a scapegoat to take the fault for their behaviour, so that they can distance themselves from the responsibility, as well as getting people to look poorly on the scapegoats. When it comes to dealing with a narcissistic person, there is that sort of grieving process when you find out they've done things that have hurt you. And one of those is anger. So as you know, you can become angry. A narcissist will go all out to provoke that anger within you, to bait that reaction from you, so that when you take a stand against them, they can accuse you of being the angry one and the crazy one. And people don't question what they did. People don't turn around to the narcissist and say, well, what did you do to make them angry? People tend to believe that you're just the bitter one and the angry one and take the narcissist's side. As a narcissistic person will project any and all of their behaviour over to somebody else, because they fail to take responsibility. So when you call them out, they might start projecting onto you. So if you believe they're cheating on you and you accuse them of seeing somebody, they're going to start saying, well, where are you going dressed up like that? To make you feel guilty, to get you to defend yourself to them, so that they don't have to defend themselves to you. Or they could rage. And as we know ourselves, that we can feel angry when someone has hurt us in some way, when they then rage out at us, we don't question, well, they're just being rageful, they're just being angry. We look at the bigger picture and we think, right, well, what did I do to set them off? What have I done to hurt them? We don't question what they have done to make us angry. We might ask them about this, and then we end up questioning ourselves. We end up wondering what we've done to hurt them. And if they've raged out at you, there's a good chance that they're going to go all out to bait you, to provoke you into reacting to them, so that they can turn round and say, look what I have to deal with. When they rage out at you, they're going to turn round to you and say, you made me do it. You made me angry. Even though you just called them out on something and wanted an explanation, they're not going to give you that explanation. They'll give you rage and accuse you of making them angry. And then they will bait you to make themselves better. They'll provoke you. They'll not give you the closure. They'll not give you the answer. They'll frustrate you. They'll taunt you until you react in anger towards them. And then they'll say, who wants to deal with you? You're crazy. You've got anger issues. That double standards. You can make them angry, but they don't make you angry. You make yourself angry. And if all else fails, calling a narcissistic person out could provoke them into just falling silent towards you, ghosting you, ignoring you, finding a new source of supply to get the attention that they believe they're entitled to. And while they're getting the supply elsewhere, they're not thinking of you. They might have put you to one side, thinking that you're the toxic person who's angry and bitter and twisted and seeking revenge on them because it makes them feel superior, that they are in control of your emotions. And it's nothing to do with what they did to you, it's to do with who you are as a person, when in reality it's everything to do with what they've done to you. They're just looking to avoid taking the blame for their own behaviour. And if the new supply isn't working out quite how they expected, they might come back to hoover you to see where the lies with you to see what they can get from you, not because they care about you, but because they want something from you. So what's the best thing you can do instead of calling a narcissistic person out on their behaviour? Recognise their behaviour. Recognise their repeat pattern of behaviour. Recognise their unwillingness to take responsibility. Recognise their unwillingness to repair the damage. Recognise their ability to hurt you, to cause you pain, to lie to you. Recognise that this isn't the kind of person you want to be spending your life around, because all they're going to do is bring you down to feel better about themselves. You can recognise someone's toxic behaviour and use it as leverage to walk away from them, to leave them be. Because every time you approach them, they find a way to punish you. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.